Welcome Bitcoin fam to No One Daily Bitcoin Pod. As you can see, we're pumping in the green up over 2,500 on the day. Looking to recapture that coveted six-figure milestone. Michael Saylor says, if I'm lucky enough to grind to 10% of the Bitcoin supply, Bitcoin's going to be $50 million per coin. Send it. Also, El Salvador continues to buy the dip, and Bitcoin ETF inflows top 500 times the 2025 average in a significant deviation. We'll also be discussing Bitcoin entering the world's top 5 largest assets, officially surpassing Google, Silver, and Amazon. We'll also be discussing the new SEC chair will be good for Bitcoin, according to the Giga Chad, Michael Saylor, as well as Tesla holds on to Bitcoin as Elon says time at Doge to drop significantly. Also, the massive breaking news, Cantor plans $3 billion crypto venture with SoftBank, Bitfinex, and Tether. That's right. Cantor Fitzgerald-Backed $3 billion MicroStrategy competitor will be named 21 and launched with 42,000 Bitcoin. And for the kicker, Jack Mallers will be the CEO. Game on. And quoting the high priest of Bitcoin, Max Keiser, Capital 21 versus MicroStrategy, Jack and co are throwing the USD under the bus. Saylor, not so much. Net $2.2 million Bitcoin in play. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, here on Hump Day. Let's get it. If you're new to the YouTube channel, it's very important. Smash the likes. It's free to do so. Go ahead, subscribe for daily premium content, and then ring the bell to turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, just like this. Today is pod episode number 1971. I'm your host, JV. It's April 23rd, 2025, and the markets continue ascending, which we love to see. Bitcoin up another $2,500 on the day. So let's kick it off with our market watch via Coin 360. Should be able to see on your screen here. Bitcoin up roughly 3% on the day, trading just shy of 94,000. We did tap around 95 yesterday in that ballpark. Ether is up 6%, trading at around 1,800. XRP's in the green. A lot of the alts pumping and in the green. And checking out coinmarketcap.com. The current crypto market cap is almost back at the coveted 3 trillion mark, currently 2.93 trillion to be exact. The BTC market cap is on the rise, just shy of 1.9 trillion, and we have 134 billion worth of volume for the past 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance has been climbing, which is nice. Today at 63.5%. Even the Ether dominance up a little itty bitty bit today, 7.4%. And checking out top 100 crypto gainers of the past 24 hours. Craziness. You got the Trump meme coin soaring, up 56% today. I wonder why. I don't know exactly why. I got to look into it, but interesting. Onyx coin up 23% and Sui up 22%. Which alts, if any, are you bullish on for this bull run? Holla. And checking out the crypto bubbles, we get that visual perspective on the day, and it's safe to say like 95% of the market in the green. I dig it. Zooming out for the weekly, wow, maybe 97, 98% of the market in the green. And zooming out for the monthly, unfortunately, the majority of the alts are in the red, but it is what it is. Fartcoin leading the pack alongside XCN. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index. Today we're 72. We haven't been this high in greed in a very long time. It's probably been a couple of months. Yesterday a 47, and last week a 29 in fear. Last month a 45 in fear. And checking out the infamous time chain calendar. We have 156,323 blocks until the halving of 2028. We're currently on block height number 893,677, and you can currently exchange one fiat monopoly dollar for 1,066 sats. So pick up the sats, put down the gats, and go ahead and do yourself a favor and pick up some Bitcoin caps from my man Sergio over at bitcoincaps.net. Also, Michael Saylor says in a new interview, if I am lucky enough to grind to 10% of the supply, which is his goal, Bitcoin's going to be 50 million per coin. And quoting P. Diddy before he became the diddler, can't stop, won't stop. We bad boy for life. No Diddy. But anyways, also El Salvador is adding more of the Bitty to the strategic Bitcoin reserve. They're now holding 6,156 Bitcoin, valued at roughly $576 million. So let's go El Salvador. They continue to stack the Bitty each and every day, purchasing at least one Bitcoin per day. But let me go ahead and pull up some of the live charts, and we'll do some live chart action Jackson for the broskies satisfaction. I mean, here you have it. Look at those charts. This is the 1 hour looking pretty lit right now, like JV's blunt. But yeah, man, I mean, we are pumping, obviously. We're maintaining above 93.9 at the time of the live, and we're not too far from six figures. And sayonara to the 80s. We were stuck there for several weeks, but we finally blew past it, and it happened all so fast. Within 2 days, we ultimately had a collective God candle up 10,000 in roughly 48 hours. Not too shabby, pretty little bitty. And we zoom out a little further. We'll look at a 4-hour chart, and you can see 2 consecutive green candles. That means we've been pumping for the past 8 hours. I dig it. And just the trajectory is definitely bullish overall. And zooming out from the 4-hour, one of my faves, by the way, we'll look at the daily, and it's a good sign. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consecutive green daily closes if we consider today, which we will get in the green here shortly. So that's what's up. And also we have the bull target on the daily, shy of 112,000. The current all-time high is 109.3, which was achieved all the way back on January 20th, inauguration day for the Trumpster. So price discovery is 109.3, which will probably be right back at in no time, in my opinion. Let me know your thoughts. We do have a falling wedge on the daily, 2 bear scenarios in play, one just shy of 69 and a super bear sitting at somewhere at around 49. And zooming out further, we'll take a look at a weekly. Silver lining here, you can see 3 consecutive green weekly candle closes. Not too shabby, eh? And we do have a bull target on the screen, a cup and handle in play, sitting at 124,000. Bring it. In my opinion, that's going to be the next logical leg up, somewhere in the 120 to 130 range, once we can clearly capture the 109.3 current all-time high. Zooming out a little further, we'll take a quick look at the monthly. And April thus far has not disappointed. Unfortunately, March and February were bearish. January was bullish. That's when we hit the all-time high. And November was the most bullish month we have ever had in Bitcoin history, surging roughly 30,000 for the month. In fiat, which is an average of almost $1,000 per day, every day of the month. So if we can repeat that, we'll be right back at price discovery in no time, as we're not too far off. But anyways, with some of that being shared, you guys let me know your thought. What trajectory do you think the period little bitty will head next? North or south? Holla at your boy. But anyways, let's continue. We did a little bit of the TA. Now let's continue with the latest and greatest in the Bitcoin news for the broskies. So yeah, this headline reads, Bitcoin ETF inflows top 500 times the 2025 average and a significant deviation. That's right. Let's break her down. Bitcoin institutional investors piled over 11 times the all-time average into the U.S. Bitcoin ETFs on April 22nd. Good sign of the times. Fresh data from Glassnode confirm 912 million ETF inflows equal more than 500 times the 2025 daily average. That's because it's been very bearish and a lot of outflows of ETFs, obviously, thus far this year. So we're making up for it. Bitcoin ETFs immediately felt the impact of the Bitcoin price rises this week, with inflows undergoing a dramatic turnaround to nearly $1 billion in a single day. With Bitcoin hitting its highest level since early March, Glassnode reveals how unusual such a tally is. In 2025 so far, the average daily inflow has just been 23 Bitcoin. Minuscule in the grand scheme of things, 2.1 million a day. This was the largest daily inflow since November 11th of 2024, marking a notable resurgence in demand. The April 22nd total thus stands at more than 500 times the average for a year, in which dramatic sentiment shifts had led to periods of major outflows across the ETF cohort, even in the context of the ETF's entire lifespan since their January 2024 launch. The 912 million figure is rare and constitutes around 11.5 times the daily average. Quoting Glassnode, since inception, the average daily inflow is approximately 1,031 BTC, calling the April 22nd total a very significant deviation. And continuing, Bloomberg ETF analyst Eric Balchunas was amongst those optimistic about the ETF's change of fortunes, quoting him here. The spot Bitcoin ETFs went Pac-Man mode yesterday. Balchunas noted that the inflows increased across most of the 11 ETFs, a move that contrasts with the common scenario in which the largest product, BlackRock's IBIT, takes the lion's share of the investments as usual. Now, European head head of research at Bitwise said it was equally buoyant. Great to see very positive net inflows into Bitcoin ETFs again. In fact, they have become the marginal buyer in Bitcoin since January of 2024 when they launched on Jan 11th. The can actually determine whether you see negative or positive net buying volumes on the Bitcoin spot exchanges. So there you have it. And if you don't know, now you know. Institutions are stacking the biddy as the smart money is accumulating. So you already know. But this is an interesting headline that drew my attention. It reads, Bitcoin enters the world's top 5 largest assets, surpassing Google, Silver, take that, Peter Schiffmeister, and Amazon. Take that, Jeff Bezos, you and your fake space push loser. But anyways, Bitcoin has overtaken Alphabet to become the world's 5th most valuable asset by market cap as of today. The market cap literally surged 1.87 trillion, edging, get your head out of the gutters, broskies, past Alphabet's 1.859 trillion valuation. According to asset ranking data, as you can see here, Bitcoin now behind only gold, Apple, Microsoft, and Nvidia. And you can see the gold market cap soar through the roof because it just recently hit a new all-time high. At the time of this screenshot, it's at 3,300. I think it came just shy of 3,500. But currently the market cap of gold is 22 trillion, and you already know Bitcoin's going to overtake that. So game on. Apple is 3 trillion, Microsoft 2.7, Nvidia 2.4, and the biddy 1.87 trillion, ranking 5th at the time of this article. So yeah, Bitcoin's edge over Alphabet coincides with the ongoing decoupling from the long-standing correlation with the U.S. tech stocks, especially in April, when the biddy price rallied 15%, despite the Nasdaq's 100 returns of 4.5% in the same period. And quoting Max, Bitcoin's always been on its own trajectory. It's always on its own vector. This decoupling followed months of disappointment for crypto bulls who expect to get stronger post-election rally. Even with April's gains, the biddy price remained 16% below its 109,000 all-time high set back in January. It was January 20th on Inauguration Day, ironic enough. So you can see things here, tech futures down, dollar down, gold new all-time high, Bitcoin breaking out, hence the great decoupling. Bring it. Trump's recent criticism of the Fed chairman Jay Powell and his executive order creating the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, which is nearing the 60-day review window, is helping reignite investor interest in the biddy. Chatter questioning Fed independence is having positive spillover effects, according to the head of research over at K33, and macro analyst Feja stressed the capital outflows from the U.S. assets will likely benefit the biddy, given countries can't tariff with it, and it provides high beta to a portfolio without the current tail risks associated with the U.S. tech. This market regime is what Bitcoin was built for. One of the degrossing dust settles, once it settles, I think they mean, it will be the fastest horse out of the gate. Alphabet is facing headwinds in the form of regulatory crackdowns, antitrust challenges, yeah, you could say that again, and a slowdown in digital ad revenue. The rise of AI-focused rivals and reduced growth projections have also dented the confidence in the Google's long-term projection. But to put Bitcoin's 1.87 trillion valuation into perspective, it's now worth more than 2 Tesla companies. The EV giant famously added Bitcoin to the balance sheet in early 2021 when it was trading at only 33,000 and is now sitting on 180% gains worth over 1 billion, which we'll touch upon here shortly. Next story of the day, Michael Saylor, again, this is the latest. He says the new SEC chair will be good for Bitcoin, unlike Gary Gensler and the war on crypto. Thank God, Operation Choke Point 2.0 is finito. Michael Saylor, CEO of the top corporate Bitcoin holder Strategy B, formerly known as MicroStrategy, but there's nothing micro about that strategy, expressed support for the newly appointed U.S. SEC chairman, Paul Atkins. In an April 23rd post, Saylor wrote, the SEC chairman, Paul Atkins, will be good for Bitcoin. The statement follows Atkins swearing in as the 34th chairman of the SEC officially on April 21st, and you can see the post from the Giga Chat. Now, Blue Masalari, the head of digital assets at investment firm T, Rowe Price, also commented positively on Atkins swearing in during the recent Bloomberg interview. She seemed hopeful and recognized the change in how the SEC has acted under the new administration, particularly with crypto-related info. including close to 6 or 7 roundtables with industry professionals. Here's what she said. I think that's going to feed into the ability to make thoughtful and considerate policies. Now, Vincent Liu, Chief Investment Officer at crypto investment firm Kronos Research, under Chair Atkinson, says finalizing custody rules for digital assets is expected to provide the investor protections that the institutions demand. Other issues expected to be resolved are clarification on whether some digital assets are securities or commodities. If it's up to Gary, everything's an unregistered security, including our moms. I mean, you can't make this ish up. Together, these two moves will help establish clear custody standards and bring much needed clarity, paving the way for the next wave of crypto product innovation. Now, accolades from representatives of the crypto industry readily followed Atkins' appointment by Trump in late 2024. For example, Bitwise Asset Management General Counsel Ms. Dowling said the time that he has a great choice, and Ripple Labs CEO Garlinghouse said he will bring common sense back to the agency. But not everyone was happy with the choice. Go figure. Senator Warren, aka Pocahontas, said during Atkins' nomination hearing that he had staggeringly bad judgment. That's because she's sour that Gary Gensler and her henchmen are no longer in power. It is what it is. Atkins served at the agency from 2002 to 2008. She also raised an issue with his consulting firm Potomac Global Partners, which also advised the crypto exchange FTX. Ooh, that's not a good look. Quoting her here, your clients pay you north of $1,200 an hour for advice on how to influence regulators like the SEC. So if you are confirmed, you will be a prime spot to deliver for all those clients who have been paying you millions of dollars for the years. As if Miss Pocahontas isn't corrupt. Remember, Miss Pocahontas, anytime you point the finger, you got 10 fingers pointing right back at you. So just lay low and shut the F up. That's my advice for her, by the way. Atkins accused the bias. Warren also sent a letter to Atkins late March stating that he should expect questions about his potential role in the agency due to his ties with the crypto industry through Potomac before being appointed. Atkins revealed a personal family financial portfolio worth more than $327 million, according to public ethics filings released ahead of the Senate confirmation hearing. Similarly, Trump's AI and crypto czar David Sachs filed a notice in early March suggesting that his venture capital firm sold more than $200 million in crypto and related stocks ahead of the assuming role. I think ultimately you're not supposed to hold any crypto, or it could be like a conflict of interest. So David Sachs allegedly offloaded all of his crypto before taking the position. If that's true or not, I mean, who am I to say? But that's according to the legend, the theory. But anyways, what are your thoughts? And Gary, claimed to do the same thing when he became chairman of the SEC. He's like, I think he was pressed at a conference. And he's like, no, I don't hold any crypto. I got rid of it all. Do I believe that? No. But nonetheless, 'tis what it is. So as you can see in your screen, next story of the day, Tesla holds on to Bitcoin as Elon says time at Doge to drop significantly. That's right. Tesla has held on to its Bitcoin during the first quarter of the year as Elon promised shareholders he would scale back his time working at the Trump administration cost-cutting czar. Musk's comments appear to have been the main catalyst behind Tesla's 5% price jump after hours, April 22nd at $250. After closing the trading day up almost 5%. It comes as the automaker's quarter one results released the same day shows a revenue of almost $20 billion, missing Wall Street estimates by 7.8% and marking a 9.2% fall from the same period last year. Tesla's net income of $409 million also marked a 80% quarter-on-quarter drop and 70% fall from quarter one of 2024. Curious, by a show of hands, how many of you own a Tesla? Holla. Tesla's digital asset holdings dropped 11% in value from $1 billion to $950 million in the first quarter, alongside Bitcoin's 11.5% fall to 82,000 over the same time. A new rule from the Financial Accounting Standards Board allows public companies to report their crypto holdings at market value before any losses were recorded, unless crypto was sold. Tesla's 11,509 Bitcoin stash is now worth $1.07 billion as a result of the market rebound over the last week, according to the Bitcoin Treasury's data. Not too shabby. And naturally, they would have had a lot more than that, but a long time ago, they did dump a lot of their Bitcoin holdings, which was a really foolish idea. Anyways, Musk promised that he would scale back his time working at the Trump administration's so-called Doge department to focus more on Tesla. Quoting him here, starting probably next month, May, my time allocation to Doge will drop significantly. I'll be allocating far more of my time to Tesla now that the major work of establishing the Department of Government Efficiency is done. Musk said he'll continue to spend a day or two per week on Doge-related matters as long as President Trump needs to ensure the waste and fraud that we stop does not come roaring back like a roaring kitty. Tesla's 5% rise after hours came back 4.6% increase to nearly $237 yesterday on the trading day. Tesla shares are still down 37% year to date, driven partially by the declining sales, Elon's increased political presence, and economic uncertainty stemming from Trump's tariffs. Now for our feature story of the day. Cantor plans $3 billion crypto venture with SoftBank, Bitfinex, and Tether. This is the latest report, but $3 billion MicroStrategy competitor will be named 21 and launch with 42,000 Bitcoin. And the kicker, Jack Mallers will join as the CEO. Max Keiser's calling for 2.2 million in play as the game theory continues. So let's break this down. This is our feature story of the day. Here we have it. Massive news, by the way. So Brandon Lutnick, chair of investment banking firm Cantor Fitzgerald, multi-billion-dollar firm, is reportedly partnering with SoftBank, Tether, and Bitfinex to create $3 billion crypto acquisition company. Lutnick and the consortium hope to create a publicly listed crypto acquisition company to capitalize on the market under crypto-friendly President Trumpster, President T, and replicate Saylor's company strategy. The Financial Times reported April 23rd, citing 3 people who have been briefed on the plan. Cantor Equity Partners raised $200 million in January for the new firm called 21 Capital. And we all know that's because in Bitcoin, there can only ever be 21 million coins. Now, at the same time, stablecoin issuer Tether will fork out $1.5 billion in Bitcoin, and Japanese investment holding firm SoftBank Group will contribute $900 million, and the crypto exchange Bitfinex will add $600 million. Lutnick's new venture hopes to raise another $350 million in convertible bonds and a separate $200 million private equity placement to buy additional Bitcoin. Eventually, Tether, Bitfinex, and SoftBank's Bitcoin investments will be converted into 21 Capital shares, with the value of the Bitcoin locked in at $85,000 per coin, and shares costing $10 a pop. However, the deal hasn't been finalized yet, and some details could change before the official announcement. Brandon Lutnick was named chair of Cantor Fitzgerald when his father, Howard Lutnick, stepped down to become the U.S. Secretary of Commerce. And there you're looking at Howard Lutnick right here. And when interviewed by Pompliano recently, Pomp straight up asked former Cantor Fitzgerald CEO Howard Lutnick, who is now the Treasury Secretary working with Trump, how much Bitcoin do you hold? And he said hundreds of millions of dollars worth, and it'll soon be billions of dollars of Bitcoin. So it couldn't be more bullish for Bitcoin. Cantor Fitzgerald, SoftBank, Tether, and Bitfinex didn't immediately respond. However, Cantor's managed Tether Treasury portfolio has $134 billion of reserves. So this is no joke, fam. Mainly in U.S. Treasury bills since 2021. The firm also owns a 5% stake in stablecoin issuer, Tether USDT. Cantor acted as in an advisory role of Tether's $775 million investment in YouTube alternative Rumble. Got their hands at everything. Shout out Rumble and to the Rumble fam. Meanwhile, on March 11th, Cantor Fitzgerald said it was rolling out a Bitcoin financing business with $2 billion in initial capital to help institutional investors borrow against their crypto holdings. Anchorage Digital and Copper were selected as Bitcoin custodians and collateral managers. Cantor Fitzgerald currently holds over $5 billion worth of assets across 275 total holdings, according to Fintel data. And now here were some of the headlines on, crypto X today. Cantor Fitzgerald-Backed $3 billion MicroStrategy competitor will be named 21 and launch with 42,000 of the biddy. Jack Mallers will join as CEO. I love Jack Mallers personally. I mean, what a great team. I'm excited for this. Also, Jack Mallers 21 is building a Bitcoin bank targeting $500 trillion market. Jack Mallers was just recently interviewed on TV. It is a great clip I reposted. You guys will find on my X account. This is extremely bullish. I love when Jack speaks, gets me super lit each and every time. Max Keiser responded to the big news. Capital 21 versus MicroStrategy. Jack and company are throwing the US dollar under the bus. Saylor, not so much. Net 2.2 million biddy in play. Shout out to Max Keiser. He also tweeted here, game theory in action, 2.2 million in play. And another tweet here, huge validates strategy and confirms they're building an unsellable moat. And this was off the back of this news here. Turning point in institutional investor sentiment around MicroStrategy shares. The most meaningful validation to date of MicroStrategy's Bitcoin treasury operation leaves us incrementally more bullish. That's right. Strategy responded to the big news, and they're just that much more bullish off the fact 21 is going to be a competitor to MicroStrategy. This is the game theory Max Keiser has been prophesizing about for years. Another term is the global hash war, and we're witnessing it in real time, which is a true blessing. And let's actually go to Max Keiser's wall here on X, and make sure you guys are following him. In fact, he has many accounts on X. I encourage you to follow them all, from BitChrist, Toxic, Max Keiser, Max and Stacy, Golf. And of course, you got to attend the Max and Stacy Invitational. I attended it in January, or actually, was it February or January? I forget. I think it was February. Whatever. But anyways, it was my favorite and best Bitcoin event, and I will be attending next year as well. So hope to see you there. Make sure you're following Stacy Herbert, Huddle House Studio, of course, and Coco Max Country. Great accounts to be following. And again, shout out to Max. So Tour de Meester put speculative attack intensifies. Jack Muller's new 21 is pitching itself as a better bet than MicroStrategy. Game on. And apparently there's a new Saylor mix. We're going to have to definitely sample that. Shout out Little Bubble. And so, yeah, this is the big news. TD Cohen calls the 21 launch the most meaningful validation to date of MicroStrategy's Bitcoin strategy. Corey Clipston wrote, exciting to bring the best strategies from the world of leveraged Bitcoin equities to Swan's business and family office clients. So Swan's embracing it as well. Max also, put there huge, big, obviously this is big news. So 2.2 million in play. And quoting Max one last time, bankers are just clowns in suits juggling your money until it disappears. And shout out Brandon Martin. Make sure you're following my Biddy Broski here. A great account to be following. And with that being shared, yes, I still have the hiccups, but I got the news done, so game on. Welcome everyone to the Q&A segment of the live stream. Let me know your thoughts with the big news, as well as Max's 2.2 million target.